What is going on today, guys? It's Hazmat Trucker for another video. Hope you guys are doing well. Today I just wanted to talk about the two most common ways you're going to be paid as a fuel hauler. So for those of you who don't know, generally speaking, you're either going to be on load pay, which is you load your truck at the rack or the terminal or the refinery, wherever you're at, and then you go to the store, you drop that load off, and that's what you get paid for, delivering that load into the ground. Or the second common way is hourly pay, and that can vary depending upon the company. Some companies just pay straight hourly with no overtime. Some companies pay overtime after 40, like mine at Gemini Motor Transport. Some other companies pay overtime at different intervals, like 45 hours, things of that nature. So for those of you who don't know, my first job, as is very common within the fuel hauling industry, was based on load pay. For those of you who didn't see the video, you can go ahead and check that out, and I'll try and link to it above here. It was titled Working for a Family-Owned Company, and this first job that I had in fuel hauling was a smaller family-owned company. And not to get into too much of that specific video, but the overview was obviously I got my experience, but then as soon as a better opportunity came along, I bailed to Pilot simply because they were stealing, or the company that I was working for at the time was shorting my paycheck on a very consistent basis, from anywhere from $50 to $300 a paycheck, and that was a constant haggling back and forth every single pay period. And on top of that, they had no issues lying directly to me. So because of that experience at my first fuel hauling company, I was very soured on load pay, as you could quite imagine. After I had gone to Pilot, I started running into a fuel hauling company. It's a third-party carrier based out of Utah, and they go by WR Hauling is the company name, and I started just talking to their drivers. And once again, this is why I talk to people, because I just want to know what their experience is like at the different companies, how they're enjoying the job, and this is why you should as well. But over the course of about 6 or 7 months, I had talked to 4 or 5 of their drivers at WR Hauling. They are all load pay based, and all of them said they didn't mind it because they were adequately paid. On even a smaller day, they could expect anywhere from $450 all the way up to $550 or even $600 a day, and that was just for a 5-day week, and they were all very happy. And on top of it, they all got their own trucks. They were more regionally based, so they would haul products from Cheyenne all the way back to Salt Lake or wherever they were taking it in Utah. All of their trucks were pretty much brand new, or very, very new Kenworth W900s, brand new trailers on top of that, and they looked like show trucks, quite honestly. So I was kind of surprised to hear that they were paid as well as they were. But that being said, so it was just kind of a refreshing thing to hear from somebody else that load pay is not always going to, or a company that pays you on load pay is not always going to screw you over, and there can be good deals out there. Because I know for a while, I even personally had this view that load pay was basically just theft. That's how that experience at that first company had kind of warped my mind, and so I started treating load pay as universally bad, hourly pay universally good. So I just wanted to throw that example out there. And again, WR Hauling is the one who is in the top on the thumbnail, just to throw them a shout out, because it sounds like from all that I've talked to, they're a great company to work for. I have also talked to several of the drivers who were here at Gemini Motor Transport when they were still on load pay, because keep in mind, Gemini Motor Transport has only been on hourly pay for about 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. Somewhere in that time frame is when they switched from load pay to hourly. When they were on load pay, from everybody that I've talked to that was still here at the time, they were still paid very well. All of them didn't have to work incredibly hard to get over 100,000, and pay issues were generally not a thing. they might have a small discrepancy here or there, but they immediately fixed it. They didn't haggle you over it or anything like that. So not an issue there as an example. You're not always going to get screwed on load pay. So moving into hourly pay, quite simply, it just takes all the stress away, because when you were on load pay, when I was on load pay, any little delay that could happen, whether that was a rack delay or even somebody cut in front of you at the rack, you had an accident that was backing up traffic, especially when you're going through metro areas, which was common, or you had some sort of allocation issue, you just immediately, your cortisol levels were just woo, through the roof. It was really easy to get stressed out and then also get really angry really quick, because suddenly things just seemed like they were totally against you, even though generally that's just kind of how it is in fuel hauling. You'll have slight delays here and there, or accidents here or there, or even in the weather. When you're going through Wyoming, for example, and you hit a snowstorm, or anywhere else where snowstorms are common in the winter, obviously that's going to affect your bottom line if you're on load pay. So that's another way that you can just start going and start trying to Hulk out. Hourly pay takes the stress away, as they say, and it also allows your focus to truly be just on safety and going through your routine properly, so that you don't actually make a big mistake. Because when you're on load pay, your mind isn't on what you're currently doing. It's always on, okay, what's the next thing I need to do, and what's the next thing I need to do after that, because you're just trying to get through the end of the day as quickly as possible, and you're trying to essentially align the stars in your head so that it's going to work out perfectly. It doesn't, and that's just how life is. Also, as a disclaimer, there are days, and I've talked to several Gemini drivers about this as well, when they were on load pay, there were days, certainly towards the beginning of when they had switched from load pay to hourly, that on certain days on load pay, you could make more than you were making hourly, but generally speaking, the stars had to align, and it was not a consistent thing. Whereas hourly pay, you work a set amount of hours, you're going to get a set amount of money on your paycheck, and that's about it. There's not this, well, maybe I can squeeze another load in here, or maybe they'll send me to a farther location so I'll get more money this week. It's none of that mental gymnastics to see how much you're going to get paid and how you could increase it on the next paycheck. Overall, I just kind of view load pay being kind of the hare in this situation, and hourly pay being the tortoise in this situation. And obviously we know who wins the race, but again, that doesn't always mean that it's hourly pay is going to be the best scenario for you specifically. There can be, and there are many companies out there who do pay well on load pay, and it is worth your time. But that's just my view. If you guys disagree with me or agree with me, just put it down in the comments below and let's have a discussion about it. Otherwise, hope you guys are doing well, and I will see you guys on the next one. God bless.